I'm delighted to be here, even though there's something going on with the light. But if not, I can also always switch off my camera if needed. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about the project that I'm currently managing, which is the CRAFT program, Climate Resilient Value Change for Improved Livelihoods. But I work for SNV, Netherlands Development Organization. And I would first like to share with you a little bit about SNV, and also about how agri food systems fit in our new strategy. We have launched our new strategy, I think, last week, a new strategy towards 2030. And but let me first go into who we are. Now, SNV is a mission-driven global development partner. Yes, we are based in the Netherlands. Yes, I am Dutch, but we are a global development partner that has local presence in more than 20 countries in Africa and in Asia. And we are a team of more than 1,600 people. The majority are people, coming from the countries where we work in. And you can see our vision and our mission. And through our vision and our mission, we aim to contribute to the SDGs through effective program delivery and influencing. And there's a central focus on transforming agri-food, energy, and water systems, which will enable sustainable and more equitable lives for all. And again, you can see that back in our vision and mission. So our vision for impact is driven by our mission, and our work to 2030 is defined by the intersection between 9 major SDGs and our 3 sectors of focus and 3 core themes. Our 3 sectors of focus are agri-food, energy, and water. And within and across these sectors of focus, we have 3 core areas that are interlinked. And one is gender equality and social inclusion, then climate adaptation and mitigation, and strong institutions and effective governance. And across those sectors and themes, we align our efforts to those relevant SDGs and measurably want to contribute to those specific elements of the SDGs. Now, I work in agri-food systems, which I think is very much aligned with what we want to talk about here today. SNV works towards transition in sustainable and resilient agri-food systems, delivering food security and sufficient nutrition for people in all their different diversities. And we have the following specific impact goals. We look at food security and healthy diets, sustainable production in a healthy ecosystem, and economic participation and social inclusion. Now, talking about food systems, I go a little bit further into what CRAFT is about. Now, looking at food systems, they're the cause and the victim of climate change. Of course, we're all aware of how agriculture influences climate change, but also climate change affects the major food production regions, and especially those food insecure countries are increasingly more vulnerable to short-term crises. So then, making the jump to the CRAFT project, the challenge that CRAFT is working towards is looking at climate change risks For example, reduced precipitation, um, or very heavy rainfall, or increased drought periods. Among those are some of the climate change risks that impact food production and therefore also food systems. And vulnerable groups such as smallholder farmers are likely to be mostly negatively affected. Climate change can also positively affect, but mostly smallholder farmers are vulnerable for those heavy shocks. And if we look at the growing population in East Africa, it is very important that especially those food crops, that we look at climate adaptation and how can that be done. And of course, we have now today the International Day, or what's it, the World Soil Day. There's also this aspect of land fragmentation, degradation, soil fertility loss that also affects productivity. So there's a need for an inclusive approach. And CRAFT is a project that tries to work on an inclusive approach. Now, CRAFT, very quickly, it's a 5-year program. We're currently in year 4. Our project donor is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the Netherlands, and SNV is the lead implementer, but we work together with Wageningen University, with SICAFs or ILRI, and Rabobank, Agriterra. Do I have everybody? Yes. It's a consortium of 6 partners. And our project goal, or the goal that is to contribute to the increased availability of accessible and climate resilient food for the growing population. And we do that, and it's in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. And we do that through working towards 3 objectives of 3 areas that we want to influence. First, the productive capacity and income of smallholder farmers. Then also business performance of agribusinesses and cooperatives, and climate resilient, sustainable food production on 600,000 hectares. And I can't really see this very, very well myself. And our implementation strategy has a complementary approach around climate resilient services, again, for the smallholder farmers, but also climate smart financing, women and youth inclusion, and scaling of climate solutions. We're currently working with 54 companies in the 3 countries on climate inclusive business cases. And through those business cases, we have been able to reach, it says here 174,000 farmers, but we're actually already at over 200,000 farmers, working with them on climate adaptation and understanding what to do with different risks, and looking at the different climate solutions, and yeah, let me keep it at that. I'm having a problem with looking. I'm not sure if everybody is also seeing my camera like you see it. So we have these 54 companies working in the different value chain, the food value chain, and our strategic actions focuses on leveraging private sector investments. So with these 54 companies, we actually have been able to leverage around 13 million euro by us investing 7 million euro. But we have also been able to facilitate knowledge and technology transfer and support evidence-based policy dialogues. Now, a specific area that I wanted to share with you is the area of climate information services. And if we look at financing food systems, climate information is a key strategy to support climate action, which then also, of course, translates back to food systems. So what we have done within Craft is we have worked on climate projections and also looking at the impact of the different crops. We have assessed climate risks on value chain activities by all actors. We have looked at crop suitability maps under a changing climate change condition, and also linking suitability maps with financial data to support climate smart financial analysis, which is an area that supports also local financial institutions to understand what climate change is actually going to mean for their portfolio and how to make the right decisions. I want to share very quickly with you for a case in Tanzania where we first looked at the probability of drought. As you can see over the different months, what is, if we look at the climate modeling, where is the probability of drought actually going to increase or maybe even decrease? And then we did climate change impact assessments on the potato yield. Again, I don't know how good you can see it. There you can see there's a shift in some areas are not affected, but there are, and it depends also on the season. But other areas are heavily affected, especially in the second season, which is October, November, and December. And based on those scenarios, we have made climate adaptation assessments, and also what are the different practices that, for example, farmers can do, companies can do, and those are the cases that then we will work on with the different businesses. And for example, again, you can see here the potato suitability in a changing climate in Tanzania. At the left side, you can see the suitability as a baseline, where you can see there are areas that are now very suitable to grow potato. But if we look under an RCP of 8.5 in future climate, we see that the scope for expansion is very, very little, and that some areas are really, really reducing in being suitable. So therefore, action in financing a sustainable food system is needed, and investment in that climate information services is necessary to support the planning and the financing of climate smart agriculture. And we need to strengthen agribusinesses. Now, as I've explained, we work with agribusinesses and financial institutions on climate information services and bankable adaptation options. And like we did in Craft, de-risking mechanisms such as grants and technical assistance will support the the leveraging of those investments, and also it will allow the scaling and a horizontal and a vertical level, and multi-stakeholder engagement, of course, to again also leveraging and scaling of the solutions. But if we look at the financing, we think also microfinance institutions should be included, because one of the lessons that we saw is that yes, for farmers, linking them with the agri SMEs to ensure production and making sure that we work on the climate risks. The linkages and the markets are very important, but access to finance is actually crucial. So even though you finance the agribusiness, also the farmers need that finance. Well, with this, I want to close actually with a short video of one of the companies we work with in Kenya, and I hope you can hear. Thank you. Can you hear?
Vulnerable population on the planet. Building climate resilience for these farmers requires massive investment in agricultural value chains to boost the adoption of climate-smart agriculture. To address this problem, in 2018, the Netherlands government committed 36 million euros to a flagship climate adaptation project known as CRAFT, implemented by the Netherlands Development Organization and in partnership with Wageningen University and Research, CJRR's Climate Change Agriculture and Food Security Program, and AgriTerra. CRAFT seeks to contribute to increased availability of accessible and resilient food for the growing populations in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. In this video, Topical Ventures, an agri-SME, shares how CRAFT's support has promoted enhanced nutrition and food security in Kenya using traditional crops and project-validated climate-smart agricultural practices and technologies.
Topical Ventures was born around the concept of working with small-scale farmers in drought-tolerant crops. And our main focus was really centered around green grams, but we also purchase other drought-tolerant crops like cowpeas, millet, and sorghum. Traditionally, the green gram has been consumed in rural settings in Kenya, but there has been a general shift in urban centers for populations consuming more plant-based protein versus animal-based protein. Getting better produce from the farmers and bigger volumes has allowed us to be able to package more and distribute in urban centers, cleaned, processed, packaged green grams. Having CRAFT come on board was one, train the farmers on the power of using one particular variety in a farm. That means your product is more cleaner, it's better. Number two, through the trainings on good agricultural practices, then they are able to, whereas before they would get in an acre like 2 bags of 90 kilograms, now they're able to produce between 3 and 4 bags of 90 kilograms. Some of the benefits we've had both for the small-scale farmers as well as Topical Ventures is the small-scale farmers have had access to training that allows them to practice the use of certified seeds, water conservation, as well as the use of mechanization for post-harvest handling. At Topical Ventures, we are able to uptake more volumes from the small-scale farmers we are working with, and it has allowed us to access a bigger portion of the urban market that is consuming plant protein.
In Kenya, CRAFT executes its interventions in the common bean, green gram, sorghum, and potato value chains by providing climate-smart solutions such as improved seed varieties, soil and water conservation measures, post-harvest handling technologies, mechanization services, and weather information services.